Hello and welcome to the Kind of Sort of Maybe show. Thanks for joining us. My name's Jim.
I'm Claudia.
And Melinda.
And again, you can follow us on Twitter at the KSM show on Twitter. Yeah. Anyway, I'll put it on there.
Okay.
So today we're going to talk about awesome stuff, like always. And I don't have my notes here, but what is it?
Vampires
Versus
werewolves. I
Yeah.
can't say it.
Again, vampires versus werewolves. So just to start off, and while my notes load, because I have a slow iPhone 6, we're going to talk about what was your first introduction to vampires and werewolves? Pop quiz.
The
show.
Oh man, I don't know. I want to say the show Supernatural. My favorite show, best show ever. Shout out Supernatural. I mean, I knew about like Twilight and stuff, but that didn't really catch my attention.
Are you sure? I heard you really like that Edward poster behind your desk says otherwise.
No, that's not it. that's actually Cedric Diggory from Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was. I think it was Supernatural. Supernatural has a lot of both werewolves and vampire episodes, and that's probably where I have most of my information about those two species.
That's when you first got introduced into vampires? Like that made you like read into them or what?
That made me research them and look more into, I guess, the idea of werewolves and stuff. Obviously, I knew beforehand, what a vampire and what werewolves were, but what made me actually look into the lore and the history behind it was probably Supernatural.
I still have yet to see that show or hear a lot of good things. You tell me every day, you're like, watch Supernatural, and I know, but I can't watch like 500 episodes, How many seasons are there?
We're on the 12.
Only? How many?
12.
12 out of how many episodes per season?
Like 23 on average.
That seems fair. How long is each episode?
Like 44 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I got plenty of time.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in 2020. When I can finish. How about you, Claudia?
I remember watching the interview with the vampire with my dad.
Okay.
And so, of course, Tom Cruise, all the characters were awesome. I was young, though, but I was fascinated. I just thought vampires were so sexy. And I mean, young little me, I was like, ooh.
How old were you when you
vampires.
saw that?
Like maybe 12.
Oh, okay.
I mean, recollectively watching it and actually understanding what they were probably like in my teens when they would pass it on TV again. But that movie kind of launched my fascination with them. I mean, even today, anyway, that one.
Do you throw glitter on Pablo?
Sparkle
I
Vampire.
think he did that once just because he knew that I liked
Oh, Pablo,
wow.
you were a good husband.
Good husband. And a little bit too much information.
Husband award.
He does. Shout out to my hubby. And then, of course, Twilight. But even young, I would read Vampires Academy. I would read all those books.
I don't know what that is. Is that like young fiction?
Yeah,
Okay.
any of that kind of stuff with vampires. Dracula, when we went over Dracula in class, I loved it. I just think they're so fascinating. And even today, I mean, when I was in high school, I was obsessed with Twilight. I was obsessed with the storyline, of course, Edward, and the further you got into the book, especially the fourth book, they went more into when all the vampires in history came together, and it's just really, really interesting. I mean, I know I read Dracula and I know enough about it to talk about it because it's super interesting. Yeah, that's how I was introduced.
Yeah, with me, vampires. I think one of my first things I saw as a kid was The Lost Boys. So with Kiefer Sutherland and Corey Feldman and the other, classic 80s people. So that was my first kind of, I think, when I first learned about vampires, and kind of not traditional vampires, more of the 80s of the time, and which is really cool. But it did follow a lot of those classic, I don't know if they did the daylight thing. No, because they were in daylight, right? They wore sunglasses and stuff like that. But I can't remember too much of The Lost Boys, but that was my first intro to vampires. And werewolves, I think there was this werewolf movie called, either Silver Bullet or The Howling. I think it was The Howling, and that was a horror movie, 80s, I believe, and that was a really cool one too. Kind of learned the whole thing about silver bullets, melting down a bunch of stuff to shoot a vampire, a werewolf, to kill him. So that was my thing, as well as an American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, Yeah.
Which was the original, like, kind of really good werewolf movie.
Have you ever seen that?
So there's
so good.
American Werewolf in London and American Werewolf in Paris, which was one in the 90s. But London, I think, was early 80s, maybe late 70s. Yeah. But it was a cool movie because what they did, it was one of the first times they did a lot of practical effects. So you can even look this up on YouTube, where they're transforming into a full like werewolf, which is really cool, tearing of the skin and doing this kind of gross, not just Wolfman where you kind of fade into one character to the other character, but it's really graphic and it hurts. It looks like it hurts. So that was kind of my first introduction to that.
With werewolves?
With werewolves. How about
Mine
you?
was Underworld.
Oh yeah,
That
Underworld's
movie
good.
was just graphic. Like, of course, I rooted for the vampires and I hated the werewolves, but the possibility of them like merging, you know, like
super baby,
intermating, or not sure if that's the correct word, but
like interspecies.
Yeah, that was just like so scary. And the new one's coming out pretty soon. I want to say because I've heard about it.
Yeah, Kate Beckinsale, man, shout out Kate Beckinsale. I like Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, in Underworld she was awesome. Yep, right. 10 out of 10 jelly donuts. Yeah.
Jelly donuts.
Yep. She's really cool. She's a really cool
she's
actress.
cool.
Yeah. So how about you? You remember the werewolf thing?
It may have been Harry Potter. Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay.
So
that's right. I forgot
Prisoner of
about that.
Azkaban.
Yeah, with the Sirius and the other guy.
Lupin. Yeah. So
his best friend.
Why are you putting in quotation marks?
Were they more than best friend?
Like brothers?
Were they brothers?
Like metaphorical brothers, like the way you're brothers or sisters with your best friend.
Oh, okay. Or
are you implying something else?
No, were they? I don't know, honestly.
No, they were BFF. So like the Marauders made up of these 4 best friends, and so Lupin, who he got infected with that
Sure.
I don't know what
just carry off and go
that one
or whatever it is.
So he got infected and there's no cure for that, so he turned into a werewolf, and so he would try to hide it from his friends in high school when he was a child. In high school he tried to hide it from his best friends, but they figured out what it was, and then so they wanted to be there for him, and so they turned into Animagi, which is like the Harry Potter universe for like turning into an animal.
What was it called?
Animagi is a plural. It's animagus if you're a wizard who can turn into an animal.
Okay.
So they turned into Animagi so that they could support him. So they wanted to be there for him. But yeah, I think Harry Potter was my first like
werewolf introduction. Or
and a lot a lot of information about werewolves in Harry Potter, and how J.K. Rowling said that it was like a metaphor for like HIV. Yeah, like it got super deep because everyone in the wizard universe, can't stand werewolves. They're outcasts in society,
even when you have magical beings and all types of things.
There's trolls and goblins, but no, like werewolves are the ones
they're
who
like the lower class.
Yeah, and so like they can't get employed, like it's super, like you have to be tested and they have to tell everybody, like it's super crazy. And so it was
he couldn't control himself, right? Was that the thing when he turned into a werewolf?
Right. So, and that's the thing about werewolves, is that they're, depending on the lore, so Wolfsbane does different things to you. So in the Harry Potter universe, if you take the Wolfsbane potion, you still turn into a werewolf, but you have your human brain, or you have your human mind. So you are more in control of whether or not you can hurt people. Yeah. And it's weird. So like in Teen Wolf, the show on MTV, which I know sounds super lame, but is actually so good. Okay. I really like it. Wolfsbane is actually like it's poisonous. Like, so like if you touch Wolfsbane, like you'll get weak, you'll get hurt and stuff. So it's kind of crazy to see, the way Wolfsbane works.
And they call it's the same thing but different effects then.
Right, okay. right, yeah.
So speaking of Teen Wolf, that was one also from the 80s that I used to watch. Michael J. Fox, awesome. We love Michael J. Fox. Back to the Future. And Frighteners. And no, I mean, he's in a lot of movies, but I love him in Teen Wolf and Back to the Future. Yeah, Teen Wolf was such a cool thing too. I remember watching him, and it was a weird thing because he just pretty much came out. He's like, "Hey, I'm a werewolf, like my dad, and, whatever." And it was a power thing that he had. He was this nerdy guy, and now he had all these agility, and he can dunk the basketball, silly music, surf on a van. Did you ever watch Teen Wolf? Sounds awesome, right?
Sounds awesome.
It's good.
It is really good. It's a movie of its time, but I don't know what the MTV show's about. But
yeah, I mean it's Teen Wolves basically.
okay,
But,
is there more than one?
Yeah, it starts off as just like the one, and then I mean he bites people, and in the show packs are such a huge thing.
Okay.
So they're classified by who they are. So there's the alpha, the beta, and the omega. So the alpha is of course the leader of the pack, and then the beta is the people who are in that pack, and then the omega is like the lone wolf, you know. And so they're huge with that, and they also it depending on the color of your eyes, like they tell you different things. See, so like if you have red eyes, that you're an alpha. If you have blue eyes, you're an omega. And if you have
they took it to another level, like really deep. In this show.
And I think it's yellow. Oh, yellow, you're an omega. And if you have blue eyes, it's because you are you killed an innocent person.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
blue?
so yeah, if you have blue eyes, that's if you killed an innocent person. So yeah, like packs in Teen Wolf are super super big, and you don't really see that in like let's say Supernatural, where you'd see an omega, or you'd see the lone wolf on trying to figure out what's happening and stuff. But yeah, I think that's cool. Packs.
Well, speaking of that, becoming a werewolf, what is the common lore that you know or that you accept? I guess. What have you accepted in your heart? What is it called?
It's weird because in Twilight, which is where most of my knowledge comes from when it comes to werewolves,
the documentary
right?
Twilight.
And Underworld, but mostly Twilight. In Twilight, the version is that it's in the blood, like it's a native tribe, and if you follow the bloodline, then when you reach adulthood or you reach like a certain age, like it'll get triggered. Okay. So Jacob Lautner, of course, you start seeing the changes in New Moon when he hits that stage, and he changes. He starts to learn how to shift, and he learns all about the lore. He learns the story. He learns where he comes from. And in that story, he's part of the Black family, which would make him the alpha in the pack. But he rejects it, which was really interesting. Like, that's something that, for him, he had a choice. And when he rejected it, he became kind of like the outcast. And, I mean, to me, that's what I know, right? El hombre lobo in Spanish, there's not that much. Like,
yeah, is there anything, there's no, like, as far as you know, Hispanic or Mexican werewolf?
Just that you get bitten in the moon. You get bitten, right? And you're normal, and then you switch in the moonlight. It always has something to do with moonlight and silver bullets.
Yeah, there you go. So that's one thing that I was going to go with as far as like werewolves, that whole lore, same thing. You get bitten, you become like an American werewolf in London. I think that they're kind of like werewolves have always been, they haven't changed much. I think like as far as I know, and as I've accepted, it's more of a curse. So you get bitten by a werewolf, you become, I mean, even Jack Nicholson became a werewolf in one of his movies, but you get bitten by a werewolf and you become a werewolf and you can't control yourself. So you have this thirst for blood or whatever, you have this hunger, and controlling that. I mean, so that's kind of it's a curse. It really is. As opposed to, and their weaknesses, silver bullets. What else do we got for werewolves?
Well, I know of the silver, so a silver bullet or a silver knife. I know in Supernatural they'll use a silver knife more to
which is pretty much the same
decapitation,
thing,
right? Well, yeah, or the heart. And but in Teen Wolf, they have a lot more weaknesses. Not so much deathly, but weaknesses. So something that physically like slows them down, and it's wolfsbane, it's mountain ash, it is I don't even remember. I think I wrote some down. Mistletoe and a lunar eclipse. Okay. So in lunar eclipse, they will completely like just be full on like monsters. Like
they can't control anything.
They will not. Yeah, they can't control.
Can they usually control themselves?
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think is so cool about different werewolves in different mediums is the way that they're portrayed. So like in Harry Potter, Lupin turns completely into a werewolf. So he's a full-on monster. Yeah. He's like he'll walk like on his hind, like he'll be a monster. And in Supernatural, it's just a person who will have claws and the teeth, And in Teen Wolf, it's kind of like half and half. So you know, like the films and stuff, where it's, you know, they'll get like, you know, hairy, and they'll, you know, they'll get the claws and like the teeth and stuff. So it's like half werewolf, half like human being and stuff. So really, just I think it depends on the how they're portrayed. And you know, Twilight, CGI monsters,
CGI wolves,
CGI wolves.
Twilight, the weaknesses was only vampires. If they got bitten by a vampire,
there was no silver,
die.
right?
Yeah, there's no silver bullets. That I remember, it was just if they got bitten by a vampire, they would die.
If a vampire bit a werewolf in Twilight, they would die. So it's like one hit kill.
Yeah.
Wow, that sucks. That really sucks.
And I think they were also the only weaknesses to vampires as well. Like vampires couldn't be killed unless they got bitten by a werewolf.
Well, no, because
they also
get
have more
decapitated,
weaknesses.
right? Yeah, like vampires.
I mean, they also have the sun, and I mean, they have weaknesses, but deathly.
The sparkliness.
The sparkliness.
You get
glitter, yeah.
No,
gotta get that SPF.
Exactly. So speaking of vampires, as far as, you know, Twilight, sparkly vampires, defend it.
Yeah,
you're on trial here.
I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I love Twilight, and then I was so excited for the movies, right? I was kind of disappointed with Robert Pattinson, but when you get to New Moon, and he goes and he rescues Bella in Italy, right? And he reveals his abs, his hairy
that were
abs
CGI'd
with
also.
glitter.
They were CGI'd.
They were
didn't have
glitter.
Nope.
And I was like, yeah, this glittery thing doesn't work. Like, to me, no. Like, I would prefer the darkness. They can only come out in the sun, like with an amulet, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like in Vampire Diaries.
Oh, Vampire
which is
Diaries.
another show from, you know, the CW.
And they can do the ring, right?
They do the ring in the Vampire Diaries, and they do the vervain. But in Twilight, all they did was sparkle. And that's why they couldn't come out in the sunlight, which was kind of...
It's kind of a dumb thing, to reveal yourself. So that's why they lived in Seattle, right, where it was overcast. Or not Seattle, in Washington, where it was overcast and stuff all the time. Well, like another...
Forks.
And where?
Forks.
Is that a real place?
Probably.
You're going to go visit it for your honeymoon? You and Pablo going to go visit?
I'm not that into it anymore, but I was.
Yeah.
Like, I was a diehard Twilight.
I mean, you were at that age where, you know, Twilight was your thing. I'm going to push this over here. It might fall off. So with me, more recently, well, when I say recently, it's like 10 years, I guess, ago. True Blood came out. Have you heard of True Blood? No.
Yeah, vampire
I wasn't
porn.
allowed to watch that, Jim. I don't know.
Yeah, you were like 4 years old, so...
No, I wasn't.
Well, True Blood, there's a really cool concept. And if you're not familiar with True Blood, the concept is cool because there's been vampires that have always lived among people. And at some point, they pretty much just come out and like, hey, we're here. We exist. Yes, we do drink blood. And they kind of laid it out. So the whole point of Twilight, True Blood, they reveal themselves to the country. And there's these companies that produce a synthetic blood called True Blood. So instead of them going and biting people, they can live out there. They go out and they get this true blood and they drink. They have the fangs. They can't go out in sunlight. So traditional vampire stuff. They're a little more like some can do like some mind control things. I believe they have certain gifts, I believe, each vampire. And of course, all the vampires are super attractive. Well, not really. So it's not always that way because there's some where there's a big dude and he's just like a hillbilly guy and he's a vampire. He has the teeth and everything, but he's not the traditional.
Pobrecito.
Yeah, and he lives forever pretty much. But that's a cool thing about Twilight that they're out. It's it's in like takes place now. And there's even politicians lobbying for them. They have rights. They have all these things going on. And, of course, all the stuff between relationships between one person and I think Vampire Bill, which is really funny. They make fun of he's like, Vampire Bill? Really? Like, you know, they have dumb names. And there's one like Eric. I mean, they have all these. I know Crystal loves Eric, that guy from Tarzan. Did you ever? Yeah, the new Tarzan movie. That dude, he's everybody loves him on True Blood. But yeah, super good show. Aside from the occasional stuff in there's some really good characters.
I think it's occasional.
Yeah,
it's a
I
pretty
was
good
told
show.
that that was a majority of it.
I tried watching it in my bedroom, and my dad was in the restroom next door, and he's like, "¿Qué estás viendo, niña?"
Yeah, how old were you though?
Like 16.
Yeah, you're too young for it.
17.
You're 23 now. So maybe.
But it would have vampires in it. That's why I was like,
oh, you're like, ooh, vampires.
And then I was like,
Whoa. Even the first think of Game of Thrones, that kind of like graphic, as far as sexual graphicness, is that a word?
But with vampires.
But with vampires, werewolves, and they go into other creatures also, like people that change. They go into shapeshifters. They go into like fairies. They go into all this weird stuff. So
does Supernatural without all that sexual graphicness.
But yeah, graphicness. But it's actually really good. There's some good stuff in there. I only got to about season 3.5, and then it kind of dropped off because
Jim, you were talking so much hype about a show you've only seen 3 seasons of.
Because I think all you need to see of True Blood is the first 3 seasons, because it kind of it goes downhill.
My best friend loved True Blood, and in my freshman year of college, she was obsessed with it. I think that's when she started watching it. And she would she's like, I don't think you can't watch this. Like,
she's protecting you.
She was protecting me. She's like, don't watch it. I'm like, okay. And I believed her, and I'm glad I didn't watch it.
So it's one of those shows you could watch. Like, again, it's an HBO show, so expect Game of Thrones kind of sexual. I can't think of the other word, but that kind of visuals. But again, it's different. If you like the vampire stuff, maybe you're a little older now, check it out with Pablo. And you might be into like the later seasons. I know I just didn't finish it because like my HBO Go ran out or whatever it was, and I ran out of time. But it's a really good different take on vampires. Different take. They introduced the werewolves later on in the 3rd season. And what's cool with True Blood, there's certain people that, they have their underground club. So when you get like blood from a person, it's kind of sold like as a drug. So they go into that different thing. There's certain beings, like they bit a certain person and they can walk in daylight, drinking this certain blood because it's so pure or whatever the deal is. And the enhanced senses, they could smell certain, can fly, I think, all that kind of stuff. Just super powerful. It's really cool. Vampires, known for them. They flew in Twilight, right?
Mm-mm. No, they just ran really fast.
Oh, that's more
Some
believable.
of them had like super strength.
Oh, they
like others.
I just remembered that scene in Twilight. Was it the first? I think
Playing
it has to
baseball?
be because that's the only one I ever saw.
Where you see them running.
He's like, jump, hop on, spider monkey, and oh man, so dumb.
Did he call her spider monkey?
Yeah.
He called her spider monkey?
Real dumb.
I thought that was like a meme. Yeah, the first one.
I think it's because that's the only Twilight movie I ever saw.
So
and then my dad made fun of it because he's like, I swear I could see the string in them, like as they're running really fast across the screen.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Daddy, it's real.
Leave Edward alone. So important question: Team Edward or Jacob?
I was Team Edward. Of course, I love vampires. I hated the dog. I hated him.
He's not a dog. He's
I called him a dog. I was like,
he's a wolf. Jacob.
To me, he was a dog. I was like,
It's funny in that first film where he's like a little kid, right? Super skinny and stuff. And then he's freaking buff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we had some people in our office that were big Twilight fans and they were too old for it. You know who you are.
Love you.
Yeah. So same thing. I was way too old for that, but I did see the movies because of just cultural awareness, and I saw it with my wife. So, and how dumb the movies were.
Yeah.
The first one was pretty bad. There's like toxic relationships in there between Edward and he's like 90 years old with a 100 years old
with a 16-year-old
girl.
Super pervy.
Yeah, that seems okay. Age is just a number, right? No.
Nope. Also illegal.
Also illegal. Very illegal.
But like, I think what's really interesting about vampires is that if you read more into them, like they're kind of like a sex symbol, because back in the day, like people, if you read Dracula, and if I remember it correctly from what we talked about in class, our class was awesome. It's like back then you only read about it because people had to keep their feelings, concealed. They couldn't really talk about these things. So Dracula represented that desire. It represented like,
like being free or something.
Yeah,
maybe?
and the blood, of course, represents you, your satisfaction when you find the love, and they're like,
what grade
I want
was
to
this
be
in?
Them. When we discussed Dracula, I want to say it was senior year. Senior year, so of high school. Yeah, so that's what it. And if you do read about it, like most of the stories, they're represented as these attractive beings, And I heard that there's a cult. I remember, I want to say it was a History Channel. There's like a secret society in New York of people that want to become vampires, or like they think they're vampires, and they do the fangs, they sharpen their teeth, and it's kind of scary though. I love vampires, but I don't think I would do that. Like, I mean, I would
If
make
you-
Pablo put some fake bangs.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
You throw glitter on his face.
Some flaps, some abs, some
What would you
fake
call
abs.
it? Flabs.
I'm
Oh,
a
poor
baby.
Pablo. Yeah. If you had the chance, would you become a vampire?
Heck no.
What? Really?
Yes.
At what age? Right now?
I would capture myself. First, I would lose 100 pounds. And then I would be like,
Yeah, because it's you. I think that's a trick, like the trap. You get like bitten at whatever you're at.
That's
And
where
you
you
stay
stay.
there.
You stay. I don't think you can like gain weight, lose weight.
gotta get in shape, like get really hot, and then I'll like make me a vampire.
Bite
And I'll
me.
be like,
But
What
then
does
you
that
wouldn't
mean?
be able to taste stuff, right? They have no taste buds.
I
They
don't
can
think-
only
I
like
don't think they have-
I'll
blood.
be powerful, and I'll live.
But then you'll get to see all your family die.
Yeah,
And
those
I'll
are the
live
cons.
forever.
Again.
No, I mean those are not the cool perks, right? But
What are the cool perks?
then you get to help society. You can be like Wonder Woman.
Nope. I don't think that's
I
a
haven't
good.
got it
Only
that
at
through.
night, okay.
But when I was young, like I know that I dreamt of a vampire coming through my window, and I was
You
like,
left your
"Take
window
me.
unlocked all
I
the
don't
time.
want to be in high school anymore.
Yeah.
You know, a young, dramatic.
No,
teen.
that's my very
You scared
first.
me.
I know.
What?
My
What?
very first vampire movie. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't. It wasn't the show Supernatural. It was the Little Vampire.
Yes, I wrote it here. I was like, I think that one was mine too.
And that was my
What
very
was that
first
about?
introduction to
Oh, it's
vampires.
so cute. The little kid from Stuart Little.
That's
The
what I
little
thought.
boy,
Yeah.
He turned into a little
He's so
his
cute.
BFF, right?
Poor
Was a little
kid.
vampire.
So his
Little
soul.
vampire.
So when you become a vampire, is it you or does your soul like die and then you're just the husk? Is that what happened to him?
I don't remember. I was
He was
a
a
little
soulless
baby. I
kid.
was a little baby.
Let's dissect this movie a little further. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
How was it? Lighthearted, funny
It was
movie?
Yeah,
lighthearted.
it was a cute little vampire.
Yeah,
Oh,
really
I
cute.
remember
So
that.
what happened? Did he get cured or he just stayed a
He
vampire?
didn't turn into a vampire. His BFF was a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he
So he
took
tries to
in-
help. Yeah, he tries
And
to
what
like
happens-
hide him and protect him. Oh,
What happens
man.
at the end?
I don't remember.
Spoiler. There's little vampire.
The best friend flies off with his parents. I think he felt.
Oh, they
him
were
find
all
his
vampires. So
parents.
he didn't like turn into one and he was already a
No,
vampire.
he's a-
No, who?
His friend, his BFF.
yeah, his
Was
friend
already a
Oh,
vampire.
okay.
Yeah, his whole
it's not
family.
like a tragic, like,
Yeah.
oh
no,
my god.
his whole family
Okay.
was a They were all vampires, right? And I think he got like
Lost.
separated from them,
Oh,
and so
okay.
the little boy took him in and like hid him in his little cabinet or like a cupboard,
Yeah.
and he tried to like protect him and feed him and like, oh man,
And the cows
Did he
were
drink
going
blood?
missing.
Oh, really?
the cows. He would
Yeah.
eat
He
animals.
would drink.
Yeah, he
oh,
drank
kind of
the.
like in Twilight, they did that whole thing.
Oh, we're vegetarians.
Vegetarians,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a load of baloney.
But that's why they were weaker or something, right?
Yeah, and they
Because they did an eye thing there too, right? Like if
if
the
they
evil ones
drank blood,
red.
their eyes were red. If they drank like animal blood, they were brown, or they
Like
had
they
like a
were
glow
normal,
to it.
something.
Yeah.
So becoming a vampire, would you be a vampire?
No,
How about a werewolf?
no,
Okay.
I don't
It's
want.
very painful. I mean, from like Anne Rice, right, in her interview with the vampires,
Uh-huh.
they go through like a lot of pain. In Twilight, you see it too. Like you hear them talking about the burn and enduring it for at least a day before you actually transition out. It's not like something that you snap into it.
Yeah.
So it sounds really scary,
Mhm.
and that's probably, like I don't know. That would probably. I mean, is it worth it? Would you do it? Would you do it?
Would I
Jim?
be a vampire? Probably not. No, probably not.
No.
I don't think so. I mean,
And a
maybe.
werewolf? What?
No, I don't know. Yeah, probably a vampire. Like, how old am
Your
I?
mind like changed real.
Yeah, no, because again, the cons, you live forever, which would be cool to see, just be around, but then you lose yourself. I mean, at that point,
Yeah.
lose your loved ones, you lose eventually. I mean, that's the whole thing with vampires. They're like, they lose their humanity.
I'll make all my family vampires.
That's what if they don't want to be
Your
vampires?
little brothers, you make them vampires, you're stuck small
I'm
forever.
gonna live by myself forever.
Claudia.
Come here.
All right.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. When
Watch
faced
out,
with that
Michael.
choice,
Michael.
Michael,
Watch out,
the one.
Michael. She's going to get you.
I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, so
Nah, I like the taste of food too much. I can't live without Roma tacos. Like
Roma tacos.
no,
That's
like
why.
super, supernatural or creature is worth like losing Roma food.
Even flying.
I want to be a superhero, but not a
Oh, yeah,
creature
but then
of
you
the
couldn't
night.
have like a day job, right? You'd have to.
Clark Kent,
No.
What are you
but-
talking about? A
no, like-
superhero?
no, a vampire.
a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's only like once a month
You
though
work the night. What,
that
a
you
vampire?
really. No, not a vampire. What? Where did this conversation go?
Yeah. Anyway, so no, I'd have to think about it. I mean,
really?
If a vampire wants to come and bite me, I guess, I have no choice. But
what if it was a boy?
that'd be weird.
That's Interview with a Vampire. They were just like,
what?
they were just, oh man, Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise like creeping on each other. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have, a long time ago.
I have such mixed feelings about that movie. I mean,
was
I love
so
that
weird.
movie, but having been obsessed with Twilight now and watching Interview with a Vampire again, I can see so many similarities that Stephanie Meyer used. Like, for example, the little girl that never grew.
That's what I was going to talk about.
It comes out in Twilight as well.
Dakota Fanning, right?
Yeah, and it was like, oh, well, this is where Stephanie Meyer got
Who
the
was that?
story
Oh,
from.
it was Kirsten Dunst, right? Was she the
She
little
already
vampire?
has a weird teeth to like.
That's so mean. What's up with that? Bring it on, Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst.
Is that the one that plays Spider-Man, Jane?
She doesn't play Spider-Man,
She
Jane.
comes out in Spider-Man.
Mary Jane.
Mary
As
Jane, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she never grows, just like in Twilight.
She doesn't age.
Just so many similarities.
There's a character in Twilight, Jessica, which is the actor in Daredevil, the secretary.
Which Daredevil? There's
the
a show in the movie.
The show. That girl. Yeah, she is actually in True Blood, and her name is Jessica, and she's awesome because she's a recent vampire, and so Bill takes it upon himself to like, they kind of have to train her, like, hey, this is the rule, these are the rules, this is how you eat, and she's kind of rebellious because she's young, and she goes and uses that whole power to like, I think she gets revenge on an ex-boyfriend and like,
that would be me on
and her
Sunshine.
parents, I think, on Sunshine. Yeah. So, or her parents, I think they were terrible. So she went in and got like revenge on them or something. So her family, but that's I guess comes with the territory and the thirst or whatever.
What do you guys think of the origin of vampires?
Oh,
Do
well,
you
like
believe in that?
the whole, what was it? Vlad the Impaler.
Dracula.
Well, yeah, like he was also known as Dracula. Well, Vlad the Impaler, right? Like he would kill his enemies, put them on spikes. Right? No anymore. I think that's
But
all.
his wife, right? His wife got killed, and he made a pact with the devil.
Well, I never heard that part. Well, Vlad the Impaler was a real dude, right? Okay, I don't know about the other part. The lore.
I know that a lot of like the lore stems from Dracula, you know, so like the whole like associating bats with vampires. I mean, that's Dracula, and also like the cloak, you know, and they're just, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different lore in all. I mean, from the beginning of time, you know, there's lore in, you know, there's biblical lore, and there's, you know, the Egyptians had their version of it, and the Greeks and the Romans. So there's you know, everyone has their own different version of vampires. So like, it's just crazy to see how far back it really goes.
How, like, as far as their weaknesses, like vampires, so sunlight, right? Traditionally they burn up. What else? You got the garlic. Yeah, the garlic. You got the stake to the heart. Right, the wooden stake to the heart, and then the crosses and all that. And I think in certain movies, Twilight, the crosses, the mirror, also mirrors, like they couldn't see the reflection.
Yeah.
Was that also in Twilight?
No,
they could see the reflection.
Oh, did he have a reflection? I don't think
he had a reflection. Maybe not. I just remember. Yeah, no, I don't remember.
No, in the wedding
but Silver also hurt them too, right? In Twilight, Silver also hurt vampires.
No.
Okay. I'm thinking True Blood. I think Silver hurt vampires in True Blood or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah.
See, and in Supernatural, I think the only way to kill a vampire was to decapitate them.
Okay.
I think that was the only way. And then you had to, because there was like no way to like kill one. So like you have to separate the body from the head.
Oh, okay.
So you decapitate them, and then you know,
bury it or something.
yeah, you go throw it out of the ocean, and there's the body in the, you know,
because they'll come back and heal. That was one thing in True Blood.
They heal. Yeah, so like if you decapitated them, they could still like
come back together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some people that were very angry. Well, like a vampire that was really pissed off, or like it was because they were like hung and then like burned and you know, like so many times, and they feel that pain, you know, but they heal back together, and that would really suck. Yeah, to feel all that stuff, being executed multiple times. And then you have those like rich vampires and you have those poor vampires, you know, and it sucks. You live forever, but you have no money. That would kind of suck. Yeah, another one that I saw, I don't know if you've ever seen Dusk Till Dawn. It was like Quentin Tarantino wrote it with Robert Rodriguez.
I
believe Robert Rodriguez.
It sounds familiar, and I don't know.
George Clooney was in it.
It sounds so familiar. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure.
How about you, Claudia?
I haven't watched it.
It's a very silly movie. So if you know like Robert Rodriguez, like his type of movies, and it was, Quentin Tarantino was in it, George Clooney was in it. It starts off so weird, and I recommend watching it because it's just a weird movie. It starts off with like two brothers, like they're like bank robbers or like, criminals and stuff. And it goes off into this whole story of them trying to get into Mexico. They kidnap this family and they go into Winnebago. It's like halfway through the movie. I was watching it with my dad and we're like, I thought this movie was about vampires. Where the heck are the vampires at? Yeah. And then they go to like a strip club in Mexico. They get to Mexico.
Yes, that was a weird movie.
That was a weird
movie.
That
girl from the novelas, right?
Selma Hayek, was she?
No, she's like, I don't know her name.
Well, Selma Hayek's in it, and I think Cheech Marin makes like cameos in like he has these parts. It's just very memorable stuff that you'll hear, and it's just a very cool movie, different and it's cool. It's very action packed. This family, like the dad was like an ex-priest or something, but they do the whole cross thing. He blesses like a super soaker with holy water, and then they're just like spraying the vampires, and pretty much what it is they get like truck drivers coming through. They stop by there and they have a good time. They lock the doors and they massacre everybody like every night. So they all eat.
I don't think I've seen that.
And they keep their trucks and keep all their goods, and it's a cool movie. So that was a cool concept too, but it was just one of those surprises where it's like, if I wouldn't have told you it's about vampires, you would have seen it. It's like, oh, it's because it's really good. It starts off like, Quentin Tarantino movie. And he didn't direct it, but he had a lot to do with writing and he was in it too.
So I can imagine it's going to be very graphic.
Very graphic.
Very gory.
Gory and a couple of adult stuff.
The thing with me is that I prefer like the romantic version of vampires versus like the bloody ones.
Horror.
That's the one that I like.
30 Days of Night. Yeah. Like
but that's one you didn't like 30 Days of Night. That was one that you kind of bloody. Went. In the last one, remember? What was that? What about that one you didn't like?
Well, first of all, it's really dark and there's just so much blood, and the vampires have no heart. They have no humanity. Like they
killed kids, right? They killed kids and women. They didn't care.
Yeah, I was like, these are not like the vampires that I want to be.
Yeah.
No, I didn't like it.
Yeah, that was a different one too, based on like a graphic novel. But yeah, I don't remember too much about that one. Anything else that you want to add? Your supernatural stuff.
I didn't just watch it. It's because Supernatural, a lot of it is like Monster of the Week. So there's different seasons they'll have different monsters. And I think werewolves are one of the ones that they have most often. More than vampires. I think they've only had a few, maybe like 4 or 5 in the 12 seasons vampire episodes, which I'm fine with because I think those are my least favorite ones. I never got into the concept or the idea of vampires. The logic behind it to me, I'm like, that's dumb. Werewolves.
Werewolves. So you're more of a werewolf person?
I'm not someone who would, want
to be a werewolf.
Yeah. Like not like that at all. Yeah. But if I had to choose between vampires and werewolves, it'd probably be werewolves. Also, because it's they're little baby wolves, like little animals, little puppies
that want to kill people.
Her version.
And
yeah. No, but vampires, I never understood it. I'm like, how does the blood go up through the teeth? Or like, I thought it was like straws. Like, I didn't understand it when I was younger, and even now I'm like, vampires.
They're just to pierce the skin because then they suck.
But that doesn't make sense because then like, wouldn't you be all dirty?
They
like,
are. True blood.
I don't know. I can't.
Maybe the types of
they
vampires.
Do the jugular vein, and then they just.
So how do you turn into a vampire in Twilight? What was it? You had
to just bite you.
No, because they bit Bella, and she didn't turn into a vampire.
You have to suck someone's blood within 24 hours, so you die, right?
What?
Yeah, Edward gave.
So you eat. So like, if I bite you, you have. I am just saying a random number. You have 24 hours to suck someone's blood,
and then you become a vampire?
Human blood, right? You can't suck a vampire's blood. You have to suck, or do vampires have blood?
No, because when Bella was bitten, Edward like bit her again to suck out the venom. So in Twilight, it's like venom.
Oh, it's venom.
Like when humans get bitten, it's venom.
Because they'll die, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay.
And so when she got bitten, I know because Edward couldn't be around Bella because he loved her so much, but he also wanted to eat her. And so when he had to draw out the venom from her, like, it was super, super difficult.
Are you okay?
It was super, super difficult for him. But yeah, he had to draw out the venom. Now, for them to convert, the venom had to stay in there. Like, she didn't have to drink blood or anything. It's just the venom has to burn them out. No, the venom. So they had to get bitten by a vampire, and then the venom had to course through.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember in True Blood. It might be like something like that too. I don't remember. How about another traditional? It's just one-time bites, right?
Yeah, and in Anne Rice's version, in the Interview with the Vampire, they got bitten, and then the bitten person had to go bite someone.
A non-vampire.
Vampire? No, because whoever was your mentor, like, let's say I want to make you into a vampire, right? I want to turn you into a vampire. In Anne Rice's version, I had to bite you, and then I had to give you from my blood as a vampire to
so it's like a circulation.
And then we would be linked because I would have made you. So I'd be your creator, and you'd be kind of linked to me. You would kind of owe me your vampire life, I guess.
No, I get that. Yeah, I think it's kind of like in True Blood. They took a little bit from the Anne Rice
stuff.
Like a
bond.
Yes. So, yeah.
It's like forcing people to be your friend.
Yeah, pretty much.
Forever. I'd do that for Pablo.
Oh,
sorry, babe.
You'd force him?
Forever.
Yeah, and Werewolves is just a one bite thing. And then like in American Werewolf in Paris, he wanted to cure himself, so he had to kill the guy who created him. You have to kill the one before so you can cure yourself. So
is there imprinting in other werewolf versions?
No.
That was kind of weird in
I think that was just more of a Twilight thing that they
being creepers.
Yeah. So what happened with that? So explain the end of Twilight.
So according to Twilight, werewolves, the way that they found their soulmates, like they could go on their whole lives and not run into the one person, that they would imprint on. But in Twilight's case, there was like this love triangle between Edward, Bella, and Taylor Lautner, which was Jacob. And so I forgot his name.
I was like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I couldn't remember his name.
And according to the story, he never understood why he was so obsessed with Bella, right? He thought that, she was his soulmate. He never imprinted on her officially. So he was just, obsessed with her. He wanted to have what he couldn't have. And so it carried on from book 1, book 2, book 3. And in the 4th book, when she finally marries Edward and Jacob, he says goodbye. He gets really mad. He goes into exile. He doesn't want to be alpha of the pack as a werewolf. He comes back when he finds out that Bella got pregnant by Edward, which again, another impossibility, right? I don't know how he got.
When a daddy vampire and a mommy vampire,
but they're not supposed to change, so I don't know how that part of him changed. But anyway, that's another discussion. Yeah, so Edward finds
vampires can't breed, right?
In Twilight, they can because according to
that
the
was
story,
like a pure breed or something, right?
Bella was still human when Edward.
When they conceived the baby.
When they had Chaka Chaka, like
is
Bella
that the real name?
Human.
It's what they call it in Twilight lore.
Oh, okay.
Chaka Chaka. Jacob finds out that she's pregnant, right? And he gets like all mad. He goes into the house where they were keeping Bella because she was dying because of the baby. And when he's about to kill her,
that movie's dumb. I forgot. They broke the bed.
The baby.
That's right.
I know. I read that part like a lot of times.
Puerca fregada, ¿qué estás haciendo ahí? Your dad?
I know. And so the baby rips out of her stomach in the book, right? It's bloody as heck. And Taylor Lautner comes in.
He came in as himself?
Jacob, Jacob comes in real pissed, ready to kill him. He sees the baby and he imprints on it.
An infant child.
On a newborn.
That is gross.
And so because he imprints on her, the tribe has a respect for whoever, like if any tribe member imprints on anyone, nobody can touch that person. So because he imprints on the baby, the tribe can't touch her at all.
So he did it more for her protection?
No, he imprinted on her. And
I was trying to save him. I was trying to save him. Like, instead of being a pervert.
Can you imprint on more than one person?
No, one person only.
So he wasted. I mean, what if
they didn't hear?
It had to be mutual. So as she grew older,
she was a baby.
Yeah,
she imprinted on him too, according to the story.
How old?
But she was a newborn.
Yeah, Bernesme, yeah. So as soon as he imprints, right, the perks come in. She gets protected, and then of course the love triangle dissolves between the three of them because now he becomes Edward's
And what did
son-in-law, I guess. Like,
hey, Pop.
Hey, Pop.
Well, what did his mom have to say
first.
about that?
She was real pissed.
Bella
like
was pissed?
Bella when she becomes a vampire, right? Because when she gives birth to Renesmee, like immediately they injected her with vampire venom so that she could become.
What's her name? Resume?
A vampire. Renesmee.
Oh, okay.
So she was
Close.
still human.
Still, what? I still don't understand.
Renesmee.
Renee,
Which is a mixture of Renee and Esmer. That they mixed it and it was Renesmee.
But who's Renee and Esmer?
Renee is Bella's mom and Esmer is Edward's mom.
Real mom or adopted?
Movie mom.
No, but I mean, okay.
Like adoptive, yeah, like
okay.
her.
Sorry.
So she's a human. She gives birth to the killer baby. And in order to save her from perishing, they inject her with a bunch of venom blood. So when...
Oh, so the baby was going to die once it was born? It wasn't a vampire at that point?
No, the baby was good. Bella.
Oh, Bella. Okay,
yeah, the baby is half werewolf.
what?
No. The baby, I don't remember anymore.
So the baby is like a hybrid of the two?
Half vampire, half human?
Yeah.
Kind of, okay.
How does that work?
Well, because she was conceived before.
Yeah, but like how does that?
I think she could eat everything.
So
including blood. Does she need blood to survive?
No, I don't remember.
So then she's a human.
But she grew. Like their baby.
Oh yeah, she grew super fast,
really,
right?
Really fast. Really, really fast.
Did they say how fast she was growing?
Really, really fast.
Oh, because at the end of the movie, how old was she? Was she still?
She was already like 6 or 7. She grew that. So
she
fast.
was.
But in how long? How long was the like? For example,
I think a month.
A month.
So when she grew 7 years in a month.
Because it was convenient. It was convenient for her and Jacob to have a happy ending.
Yes, but she was still 7 years old.
Yeah, pretty much.
How old was Jacob at this point? Because he was young too, right?
Like 30.
High school graduate.
He wasn't a graduate, was he?
Yeah, because they graduated
Did
high
he
school
graduate?
in that book.
Okay, so you're asking the important questions.
Yeah, did he go
he
to
get
college?
his education? Where did he apply to college?
Ask his native people.
He probably got scholarships and stuff.
I don't know. He sounds like a bad boy.
What?
But like she comes out, like she turns into a vampire, right? She wakes up.
Wait, who?
Bella. Bella wakes up and she's like, "Where's Renesmee? What happened? Did Jacob kill her?" So then they explain to her like that he imprinted, and she's like, "What?
Oh hell no!
Let me kill him."
Yeah.
But she doesn't, because then she understands the perks of it, even though it's kind of
you say perks, but I don't see it as perks.
Protection of the, instead of them being at war with the werewolves because he imprinted on the Renesmee, they couldn't touch her. Like they were like a team now.
I was telling Claudia,
as you say as you're pointing at me.
I was telling Melinda about that last movie, and I don't know how it was in the book, but I remember watching it, and when that big war. When they were fighting and everybody was dying.
Did you
and
like
all these
that?
People.
Because he explained it to me and I got real upset.
The thing was, it was a really cool fight scene, choreographed fight scene. It was awesome. Like, I think the dad died. His head got bitten off. Like the vampires, I think like they tore heads off of certain big characters.
Fun.
Yeah, imagine like in Harry Potter, all those people that died off screen, they actually they died on screen. But they all died and they pulled things, whatever. Werewolves died, vampires died, more vampires died. And then it just like zooms out or whatever happens, and it was just a vision. So it was kind of a cop-out, I was telling her.
Sounds like such lazy writing. That sucks.
You got to see, I think the cool part about it, you got to see the actual fight.
That's fake though.
But it didn't.
No, J.K. Rowling's a real author. She's like, I'm gonna kill everybody who you love. And so your heart, so your heart breaks like a billion times, but it's good writing because you feel it. Like,
sure, there's consequences.
Like I cried in those like reading Harry Potter because you get so invested in these characters, and then to find out that they died, it breaks your heart. So for you to read, I didn't mention people who died.
She's a big Harry Potter fan, by the way.
She just hasn't
seen the last 2 movies.
She's only seen the first 4 movies.
And the Phoenix one.
Okay, so okay,
yeah,
but yeah, for that to happen, it's just like, it's like, oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I prefer the book better than.
So I don't know. I heard there was some difference there, but I did like where they saw what was going to happen. I mean, it was a cop out. Like, truthfully, there was no consequences.
That sucks.
It was that happy ending, and it was to wrap up.
As all vampire films have.
Exactly, but this one again, the audience was different. I guess,
Teens.
but I've only seen I saw the movies once. I think when they came out, and just to see them, but the first one was terrible. Second one was that.
That's the only one that I saw, and I was
fourth one is the best.
Forced to watch it.
Fourth one was actually pretty good. It was it was entertaining.
Music was there, everything was there.
Yeah.
Still kind of lame. Like some effects were not that great, but in comparison to the first one, like I wouldn't watch the first one to this day. I make fun of it. I'm like, really? I was obsessed with this.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with this. The books give you much more.
I'm sure.
Did you like the writing? I hated the writing.
I didn't see to me the story was good, but now I hear people complaining about it. I'm like, I guess Bella was a pretty weak character.
Sure. She was.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole toxic relationship that I mentioned before.
It was so toxic.
Yeah.
Where
I didn't see it like that. I just saw that she was really
I want a
in
man
love.
like that.
I wanted an Edward. To me, I thought he was so protective, but when you put it that way, I'm like, I guess I can see what you're pulling. And I mean, she always stripped, and she needed protection all the time, and I was like, she could have been a stronger character.
Yeah, you have her. I mean, you see her character, and then you compare it to other teen movies like The Hunger Games and Divergent, where you have these strong female characters. And Bella wasn't one.
Yeah, no. And when he leaves her in New Moon,
when she wants to kill herself,
she goes psycho. Doesn't she ride off in a motorcycle off a cliff or something?
Yeah, she jumps off and jumps into the water. It's like she was just.
Oh yeah, when she was crying in the bed.
That is awful. Why do you want your teenage kids to see that?
And somehow she still graduated from high school. That's what I wanted.
Did she get any college credits?
I know.
I was like, this chick never went to school. How did she graduate? Same with Edward, not with Edward, with Jacob. Okay, at some point am I missing where they're studying, how are they doing this?
So were they weren't in the same grade though, right? She was an age.
I think he was younger than her.
He was younger. He always looked younger, I think, in the first one. That was funny. But I think there's some people here who wanted had a cardboard cutout of that kid, and I was like, you're really old and he's a little kid.
Here?
Maybe. Some people.
That scene though, that super cheesy scene when he takes off his shirt, I was like, not Edward, Jacob too, because they
for no reason. I remember seeing, because I only ever watched the first movie, not by choice. Again, I was forced to go watch it with my best friend. Shout out Dea. And so and she's like, okay, no, the movie was bad. Read the book. I'm like, okay. I read the first paragraph. I'm like, this sucks. I am not going to continue reading. I hate poor writing. I will not read a book if it's poor writing. And so I didn't. Oh, I forgot my point of this. What was I talking about? Oh, the shirtless scenes.
Yes.
So I didn't watch the movies, but I would watch the trailer. They'd come out on TV all the time. And all I saw for, 30 seconds was them ripping their shirts off, turning into werewolves. I'm like, what is the plot? What are you trying to accomplish here? I want to see something happen.
Well, we read mine in the book club, so it was part of the book club. They gave us the free books, and then I heard my teachers were obsessed with it.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, a lot of people.
Women.
It was women that were obsessed. I guess as fantasy. I mean, maybe it brought something back from when they were younger, reading certain books or whatever, Fabio books, whatever they read back in the day.
Fabio books.
Is that a thing?
Do you know who Fabio is?
No.
He's that blonde guy that a bird hit him in the face, on a roller coaster. Anyway, he was a big, ask Jenny. Jenny knows.
Okay.
She loves Fabio.
Okay.
Romantic novels, I think they would use him for the artwork out there, and I think he did some dumb stuff. So just Google Fabio if you want to know who he is. When he was in his prime, I think all the women loved him. But what was I talking about?
No.
I don't know.
Okay. It brought back memories, I think, for certain people of these relationships, but it was just really strange. Yeah, we don't have things like that. I don't think. I think we just watch TV.
You guys like fairies?
No, we don't watch fairies. Watch
Tinkerbell. I don't know
Tinkerbell. What are you talking about?
Tinkerbell.
Yeah, no, I mean, we don't read. Pretty much is what I'm trying to say. I mean, Harry Potter's all right, but I never read those. I was a little older for that. Too old for that. It's good for a children's. No, I'm just kidding. No,
use you.
I need to go back because I want to read those with my kids and appreciate them because I've seen the movies, but now that they're of age, we can have something in common. So I think my daughter shows interest and my son as well. So I'm going to get him into that. But as far as Twilight, I'm going to keep that away.
Yeah, no, show them Harry Potter because they're good books. They teach them, the power of family and love and friendship and real stuff that can't, like wizardry.
Why did his uncle leave him in like a closet? That child abuse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, wait, that's a
different
podcast. We'll wait for the Harry Potter podcast.
All right, we'll talk more about that later.
So I guess overall, werewolves versus vampires.
Not werewolves.
After all that,
vampires.
The strength of a werewolf is awesome, but just not controlling it is not awesome. So I'd have to go vampire.
Mm-hmm. I'm the only werewolf. I'll eat you guys.
Let's kill Melinda.
Let's debilitate her. What power would you have if you? Because some vampires have like, according to Twilight, right? Whatever strength you had as a human, the strength that you had as a human kind of strengthens when you transform.
Like computer powers. Like I'm really good at typing.
Like for Edward,
I'm a super Photoshopper.
Yeah, I'm really good at Photoshop.
Yeah, like with Edward, he could always sense what people were thinking, and so when he became a vampire, he could read minds.
And he couldn't read Bella's mind. That's right.
Bella, he couldn't read her mind, so her power was shielding her own mind from other people. So what would be your power besides
I guess
Photoshop?
I don't know. Nothing.
I'm
not that good of a fisherman. I don't know what
you can always. I think your power would be
what
like.
would be my power?
Making people feel good, like when someone's like stressing
I don't think I've
out,
gotten that part of Jim yet. That superpower.
You would like kind of like chill them out. You'd be like,
chill them out.
Yeah, just that would be
like chill.
Yeah, you could influence people's feelings. That
sounds
would be your
evil.
power.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. I think that's what your power would be.
What would be Melinda's power?
No, what would be your power?
What would be your power?
What would be yours? You're the vampire. I'm a werewolf. Mine is only to...
You'd be like
she turned into a vampire.
The
so
librarian.
What would your power be? The librarian? You're really good at reading
She would
books.
be like photographic memory right there. That would be yours. Because
that'd
you're
be
like,
cool.
fact this, fact that. Actually.
What are you saying? Fact this, yo. No, that sounds like a bad word. You know that, right?
That's Melinda.
Always cussing all the time.
Actually,
Mr. Garza, you gotta watch her
almanac. That would be your power, Melinda. What would be my power?
What would be her power?
Making people laugh.
I would be like a hilarious vampire. Yeah. Great. Hey guys.
It's a little bit of a feel.
I'd be the jester vampire.
Yeah. Air guitar.
Tears.
A jester vampire.
Why don't you want to be a funny vampire?
That's not a cool power. Like, hey guys, let's go to war. Let's go to war, and then I crack a joke, and the war's over. Like, that's not a lethal weapon.
You would defuse. Yeah, the other side would be like, "What? Oh, this is dumb. Let's get out of here." Yeah. And no more war.
Great.
Well, what power would you want? The abs.
The abs. No. Like an athletic power. Like, would you want to run fast, be super strong?
No, I hate running.
Okay.
Okay. I would want I can change your mind.
That is
make you do whatever you
awful.
want.
Yeah. Mind control. Dang.
Manipulation.
Did you watch Jessica Jones?
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want manipulation.
Okay.
No, you don't want that.
You would be the villain.
Yeah, I think the villains and other villains. Remember?
I'm not a villain. I use it for good.
Like what?
Like getting free Starbucks.
That's not. You're stealing from a company. That's that.
What if they give it to me by power?
Against their will.
No, not.
You're taking away people's willpower.
Not necessarily. I mean, what other cool power could I have? I don't want to fly.
I'd love to fly. That'd be a cool power.
I don't know.
Or run really fast, I guess. Like the Flash.
Oh, that's a different, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You, Melinda? What?
Read into the future like Alice from Twilight. That's what I would want. Like maybe like
being
visions.
psychic?
Yeah. Psychic.
Oh, yeah, that was...
Telekinesis.
Wait, isn't telekinesis moving stuff?
Which is part of
telepathy.
Being psychic?
No, telepathy is what you want.
That one.
So you, power would you want?
I wouldn't want to be a vampire. I don't want a power. You guys can keep my library power. That is not even a real. How would that help in a war? Fact this, guys.
Fact this. Yo,
you want to start a war?
This.
Fact that.
You'll be the wise vampire.
What age would you want to be? Right now?
5.
25?
So I can lose weight.
Yeah, but you're 25.
You got 2
to get
years.
tip-top shape.
If I didn't do it for the wedding, I'm not going to do it for this. But maybe. You?
What?
What would you want?
Fly. Run fast.
You want to fly?
Mm-hmm.
Fly and run fast? You
Both
want 2
of them.
powers.
2 powers.
Someone's selfish with their vampire abilities.
I wanna fly.
That'd be awesome. Heck yeah.
Where
like
would
fast
you
flying, not
fly?
slow flying. That would suck. Imagine it flying, but it's like walking speed. That would really suck, man. It'd have to be fast flying.
Why would you want to fly?
Because I wouldn't have to drive to work.
But what if you had stuff to carry?
I'd carry it.
Like, what would you do with your
He'd carry
coffee?
his
Like, if
car.
you had to fly with your coffee?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
Dun,
You'd get it on you. It'd
No,
be
but
really hot.
I don't have super strength.
Just
I could just fly, yeah.
So you'd be like a lane flyer.
Well, like, again, it has to be a fast flying, not like a slow flying walking speed. That would suck. Imagine that would
What
really
if you're
suck.
flying and like
It
your
would still take
wallet,
me,
like
like,
you
long
didn't
time.
know, and you didn't know where it landed,
I'm an adult. I can hold on to my wallet. It's
but you're
fine.
flying.
So I googled dreams because I remember you mentioning that you dream and you can fly in your dreams, just like
Did
Pablo.
I say that?
You
Yeah.
did say
Pablo
that.
does that?
You did
Okay.
say that. And so I googled it, and it means that you want to be like freed, like that's your ultimate dream.
You
Like
hear that, Kelly?
yeah, that you want you feel when you're like in your dreams and you're flying, it's because
Yeah.
you want to just get away from all your stress and your responsibilities.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Sorry,
freaking
family
Pablo.
and kids. Pablo. You've only been married for a month. He's been having those dreams every day.
And I wake up like in that meme with a cat, and I'm just like,
Oh, Claudia.
you're dreaming of Sancha.
Grr.
No, I'm just kidding. Or am
So
I?
what kind of dreams do you have?
Of the world ending, my teeth falling off. Yeah, Sancha, me catching Pablo on the move.
Okay. Gotta
Of our
work
office, just hilarious things. Like we were camping once.
Cool.
Yeah, weird dreams.
How about you, Melinda?
I don't remember my dreams. I know that they're bad because I wake up super terrified.
Oh, it sounds hilarious.
The lechuzas outside.
Juices and all that.
Okay, this changed it to a different podcast. But you know what I remember while you were talking about was in that first movie. when,
He smells her.
when she's like, you know, starting her first day of school, and so he's walking and like there's a fan on her. He's like
There's
Oh yeah,
there's
Twilight.
there's a fan
That's
on her.
the fan hits her.
and
There's
so,
so many
he's just like
She stinks.
he's just chilling out, and then like yeah, the fan hits her and he like smells it or whatever. He's like the
You need to
face he makes-
shower.
He makes a really weird face.
He
Okay.
makes such a hilarious.
I gotta
oh
save
man,
that
that
one.
was such a dumb scene.
Yeah.
Oh.
There was so many memes on that.
Really?
Like,
What were there?
yeah, like
That's
she's
funny.
on her period.
Oh
and
my
then-
gosh.
it was so messed up. But I mean, they made sense because he was like,
I don't remember that.
you need to watch it.
I'll check that out on YouTube.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that's it. That wraps it up. We talked about a bunch of different stuff: dreams, flying,
Harry
slow
Potter.
flying, Harry Potter for like 3 hours,
Superpowers.
superpowers,
still not
and
enough.
all this stuff. Yeah. So thanks for joining us. My name's Jim,
I'm Claudia.
I'm Melinda.
and this has been the Kind of Sort of Maybe show. Again, let us know what your favorite.
And we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
vampire.
what you are,
Hey,
vampire or
Bella,
werewolf?
really like the comment. Keep them coming.
Yes, keep leaving us comments.
Thanks
And-
for following me now.
And Marley.
Yeah.
Yes. What did you mean by monte? Yes. So anyways, like our videos and share, and thanks for all the support. Hope you enjoyed the show, and have a good night.
Bye. What's Quidditch? Cotillion.
A cotillion.
Did you go to Cotillion?
I had
She
One.
because she's
What is that?
it's what?
You're the popular one.
No, a cotillion is like a coming out party.
Don't say
When kids of the elite for kids of the elite.
You're coming out into society as a woman.
Because you're part of the wealthy society.
What? No.
Yeah, you're part of the society. Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah.
I just came out as a woman to society, and then I tripped.
And then you tripped in your cotillion thing.
Yeah. And so while I was getting to the Roma side, so my section, there's a cord, and I'm like, Roma. Pff. Well, I didn't fall, but like I tripped. And so all my friends who were there, they're like, really? Today? You're gonna trip today? And I just like laugh. Well, because it's me. Like they already knew how I'm always on the floor and stuff. And so they're like, I mean, they just.
On the floor.
I'm always falling.
I'm always on the floor.
So. Yeah.
It's like when I guess in the old times
They 2 goats for your hand.
when they would get people offer for your dowry, right?
Yeah, well, like old ways, and like the people that you went, like your date or whatever was supposed to be like the person that you married, but I mean.
How's that working out? You, Melinda, how you liking it here? Sorry?
You didn't get my resignation letter?
Oh my God, I haven't checked my email yet.
No. Someone looks like a monster.
No. 4 times.
Do I have time to go pee?
Go for it.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Did you get that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
What?
She probably bumped into the door. That Melinda's gonna go blonde and then we're both gonna be dorky.
What?
That's quite a stretch.
So werewolves. It doesn't even look like
I
them.
know, but I blinked twice, my contact cleaned up, and then I Danny.
All the eye boogers went away.
Yep. You get
Cool.
a lot with contacts, Jim.
I wouldn't know.
It's like pulled out like.
You don't wear contacts.
I don't wear
You have
glasses.
20/20.
Yes.
Really? But you're old.
You're not gonna get 20/20 forever.
I'm only
You're in
10
front of
years
a
older than
computer
you.
all day.
Yep.
Take care of your eyes. We only have 2.
I'll just get glasses. It's fine.
No,
Or
your
contacts.
life is not the same.
Really?
Then you get eye bags and your eyes get small.
You know, when you're old, you also. No. Nothing. You ready?
What else gets
What do you
old,
do when you're
Jim?
old, Jim?
Nothing.
You're not that old.
I'm not. I'm called a grandpa every day.
You did think you're Mark's age.
I know. I thought you were older than Mark.
Jim's like,
Did you and Pete
It's because
go to
you
the
act
same?
older than him.
Because Mark's a 21-year-old man.
because Mark is funny. Mark dresses,
Aw.
he dresses really youthful.
With his V-necks and his boots and his
The
His
jeans.
attitude, like, you know.
He does. He's younger than
So
we
is
are.
Danny. They're both weird. Shout out to Mark and Danny. No, like they both
act real young.
Mhm.
I know. That's why I told him, I'm like, I'm the mom of KTRI.
The
I
grandma.
have to,
More
nope.
like the grandma.
You're the grandpa.
The cat
I'm just
lady.
a regular mom.
You're the cat lady.
I think you're a grandma.
That's rude.
I'm a rocker.
It's pretty good. Is that your air guitar?
I used to play Guitar Hero.
What song's that?
Guns N' Roses.
The song called Guns N' Roses? Who's the band?
Sweet child of
Oh, there you go. Was your guitar plugged in
Right now or back then?
back then? Well, you don't have a guitar right now.
No. It was in middle school.
Oh.
How many of us, raise your hand, if you've ever written a book?
That's a question there.
I don't know. My name's Claudia.
What?
I don't know. That's not my name.
What?
That's my alter ego who wrote the book.
Claudia, it was literally your middle and last name. It was still your name.
Start it
There's
off.
like a Native American lore to it, you know. And I'm sure
Are you
there is
stealing
out
that
there.
from Twilight? Because that's what happened in Twilight.
Really? And then the history.
She's taking that as fact.
Really? The Twilight stuff?
No, because I'm sure there's some kind of tea.
I knew it. You just took it from Twilight.
And then you imprint. The kids.
That's gross.
No, I think everyone had 2 options for their elective: home ec or like
Computer
auto
science.
mechanics.
Oh
or something.
wow! You're like, you're either gonna fix cars or work at home as a
So
housewife.
those are the 2 options.
Those
So
are your 2 options
obviously,
in the future.
mine was like, oh, I get to eat for a grade. Yes, please. That was the only reason I did it, because I knew that we got to eat the food that we made.
Dang, that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a good thing. Worked out, right?
No, I don't know how to cook.
And ours.
Good job.
I
In
was
our
super
stomachs.
jorobada. I was like,
What does that mean?
jorobada? Marley?
Was that Marley right there?
No, that was. I did get a Snapchat from her.
Oh, hey
Jorobada
Marley.
means
Marley,
Marley.
like Bruce Lee. You have
But
Marley. Does she know karate?
My biggest fear?
You have like an ant on your face. No.
Getting turned into a cockroach while exercising.
That's why you never exercise.
That's why.
Thanks, Jim.
Mine is like coming out in public and forgetting to shave and like having. Like,
That's your biggest fear. Mine is like failing.
Mine is like losing my family.
Oh
you know?
no, yeah,
like social fail
like never accomplishing what I want to accomplish.
Or like.
What does that mean?
Like, I don't know. You know, you have those phobias where you're like, oh, I forgot to shave.
That literally never has crossed my mind.
Never mind then. You guys can't relate.
Do you bring do you have a shaving thing there?
A razor?
Yes.
Is that a weapon?
we call them shaving things. No, I have a razor. No, I don't have a razor anymore. Because sometimes the old stash
Few hairs.
gets a little grown.
For 3 weeks.
This is a different one, all right? Yeah.
I need to watch that, and then I need to watch Buster Ghosts.
Nope.
What?
Ghostbusters.
The language is...
Ghostbusters.
Guster Ghost. Okay.
You see, that should have been a
Conversational.
podcast. Harry Potter versus Twilight. Because remember how that was such a huge thing? When I was in high school, I remember that was like the war between the nerds.
Really?
Like, you're Twilight, Harry Potter. Yeah, it was such a huge like fight. And even not even just like with humans, with us.
Muggles and you're human.
No, with
I think you outed yourself. What are you?
I'm a wizard, Harry.
You're a lizard, Harry.
She's a lizard.
Twilight. What a hilarious movie.
What a hilarious movie.
First person to like this gets KSM merch, which is a pencil that I found on the floor and wrote KSM on.
Good job, Perla. You get the prize again.
We should ask like specific questions like toward Perla.
Yep. Your superpower. The gesture.
Why don't you want to be a funny vampire?
No.
Not a superpower.
But reading.
Superpower. Be a funny vampire.
So funny
How is
banana
reading
peel.
a superpower?
Huh?
Write a book about the funny vampire.
Yes. That's a
Hey
good
guys.
I'd read
I'm
the.
going to suck your blood. Like, what the hell? You, Melinda, you be like, fact this. Fact that.
That's not a superpower.
You can retain like information. That'd be your
Oh,
But
that's
that's
cool.
already like a human being. Like
No,
that's
but
an
let's say-
actual
Strength.
thing.
But if you're also like you live for 300 years, you'd remember
You'll be
everything.
the encyclopedia.
That'd
Which would
actually
be
be
pretty cool.
super cool.
Yeah, because that's what happens. Like I think in True Blood, they don't.
A historian.
They don't remember. Yeah, they don't remember certain things because there's only so much information you can retain. That'd be pretty
And
cool.
you'd be like on the spot. Which is a cool power. You'd be
So
a
it's being
historian.
funny.
No, it's not.
You already have that power.
That's right.
It's just enhanced.
It'll
Mhm.
enhance.
Yep.
Like,
What were you doing?
like I could make faces as a vampire.
You make faces now, Claudia.
Like they'll strengthen.
How loud would your ad be?
You're not recording anymore.
Of course we are. We didn't walk up there. I didn't walk up there to press stop.